guys, it's Nicole. I'm back with another video, and today's video is going to be about another series. I mentioned it very briefly in the last video that I posted about some of the books that I've read, and I didn't mention the name or anything about it, but it is a series that I read several years ago. I think I read it for the first time around the same age, around 18 or 19, like I read the Lunar Chronicles, and I actually reread it, I want to say like around 2020 or so. So I kind of reread this series actually pretty recently, and I reread it because I love it. So it's one of my favorite series. It's so good. It's so much fun. And it's actually kind of perfect timing because the Wicked for Good trailer just came out this past Wednesday. So this actually kind of ties into that just a teeny tiny bit. Same universe. So today's video is going to be about a series that is just like the Lunar Chronicles, where they take characters and stories and they reimagine them. And as I mentioned before, I love those kinds of stories. I love those kinds of books, and definitely one of the reasons why I love this series in particular. So this video is going to be about the Dorothy Must Die series, and there is a little bit of like a sequel series that has like stories, I guess you could call it, that I also will talk about today just briefly because it's involved. But this is the series of Dorothy Must Die, and there's 4 books, as you can see, and I love the colors. They're just so pretty. So the first book in this series is called Dorothy Must Die. So this is the first book that I obviously saw. Like, I don't think I read them as they were coming out. I think all of these books had already been out, and so I just ended up getting them, like, you know, in order. And they were already out, so which was nice. I didn't have to wait for them to be released. But I did see this one first, thankfully. I did actually see this particular one first. Let me put the rest of the books down, because I do want to talk about this one a little bit, especially the cover, why I picked it up, because I actually do remember picking this book up. I remember so vividly seeing this cover and loving the abstract kind of cover here, because title and picture here, you automatically guess what character this is about. Like, it's so obvious. If you know anything about, you know, the Wizard of Oz, you know what this is about. This is about Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. So I love the title. Without even reading the back, I was like, Dorothy Must Die. That is absolutely wild. I have to know what this is. And then of course, like, it's just the dress and like shoes, so it's just like, what is this? It's so abstract, like it's not actually her. And there's also the bow, don't forget the bow. And oh, the author is Danielle Page, and I love the way she wrote this series. She is so talented. This is such good writing. I am going to go ahead and read the back of this book so we can kind of go into a little bit what it's about, and then I'll introduce the other books in the series as well. So the back of the book starts at the very top. I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't ask to be some kind of hero. But when your whole life gets swept up by a tornado, taking you with it, you have no choice but to go along, you know? Sure, I've read the books, I've seen the movies, but I never expected Oz to look like this. A place where good witches can't be trusted, and wicked witches just might be the good guys. A place where even the yellow brick road is crumbling. What happened? Dorothy. My name is Amy Gum, and I'm the other girl from Kansas. I've been recruited by the Revolutionary Order of the Wicked, and I've been given a mission. Remove the Tin Man's heart, steal the Scarecrow's brain, take the Lion's courage, and then Dorothy must die. So obviously, that is such a cool, intriguing plot just for this book alone, and then it's a series, so yes, it gets so good. And if you know anything about Wicked musical, the movie musical, anything like that, even the book it was all originally based on, which I should make a video about because I do like that book. Anyway, you know that who turned into the Wicked Witch is actually the good guy. Like, she's not actually a bad guy. She was made to look like a bad guy, but she's not a bad guy. And this series kind of delves into that more a little bit, kind of takes that and runs with it with new characters. And so much fun. So the rest of the series, there's 4 books in this series in total. The next book after Dorothy Must Die is called The Wicked Will Rise. Pretty cool. Love the cover. Same kind of thing, abstract art. It's just a witch's like outfit, but no witch inside of it. Again, I'm not going to read the back of this book because I don't know if it has any spoilers to any of the other books in the series. But the 3rd book in the series is called Yellow Brick War. Very clever play on words. There are some spoilers on the back, so I'm not going to read the back. And then the last book in the series is called The End of Oz. And this one's kind of cool because it has like the shiny kind of Emerald City Palace on it. I love this cover so much. And it's a really good end to the series. It's a little bit thicker than the other books, just like slightly. And so you have just a lot going on in it. You can kind of guess from the 3rd book's title, Yellow Brick War, that a war is going to happen. And then the end of Oz, again, something's going to happen to Oz. Who knows what's going to happen? And it all kind of comes down to this book. But I do want to show a little bit of the stories. They're kind of prequel stories. So this is what you can call, it's just Dorothy Must Die stories. So the way it kind of is these are not books that, they're more like prequel stories. So like in the 1st volume, there's the 3 stories that are in this book are No Place Like Oz, The Witch Must Burn, The Wizard Returns. And there's, as you can see on the cover, there's a little bit of art. Like, I think we can all kind of guess, like, this is the wizard. This might be Dorothy, just based on the previous art covers. And then there's something here. Maybe it's the hot air balloon kind of thing. And this book is divided into 3 stories. It's like little short stories, like kind of giving a little bit of a glimpse into some of the stories that happened before the Dorothy Must Die series. And there's 3 volumes of this. The 2nd volume, Stories Volume 2, has Heart of Tin, The Straw King, and Ruler of Beasts. So I think it's pretty obvious, even based on the cover, that these are prequel stories of the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. And then this is Stories Volume 3, and the stories in here is Order of the Wicked, Dark Side of the Rainbow, and The Queen of Oz. Now, these are kind of more hard to explain because these characters on here are not mentioned in the original Wizard of Oz stories that we know. They are stories that are from the Dorothy Must Die series. So it's kind of hard to explain who these characters are unless you know the series itself. But it all gives you a glimpse into what was going on before the new main character, Amy Gum, arrives in Oz. So I love this series so much. It's so up there with some of my favorite series. I've, like I said, read it twice. And I love rereading things. I don't often get to do that because I always find so many other books that I've never read that I want to read so bad that I never have time to reread things. But this is a series that I reread and it is so good. It holds up so well. It is young adult, like it's fantasy, obviously, but it is young adult and it holds up so well. It is so good. You know, without giving too much away, like we read on the back of the first book, you know, in another tornado, another Kansas resident gets picked up and taken to Oz, and things have not been going well since Dorothy arrived in Oz. And it's a really fun journey that we go on, reading through the narration of Amy, because she's the one living it and she's the narrator of this whole series, honestly. It's really cool also on the back that it gives the mission, describes a little bit of what Amy has to do in order to save Oz. Remove the Tin Man's heart, take the Scarecrow's brain, and steal the Scarecrow's brain and then take the Lion's courage. So it's really cool. It's so fun. If you like The Wizard of Oz, if you like Wicked, if you like, what was that movie? The Great and Powerful Oz. If you like any of those kinds of movies related to The Wizard of Oz, you will absolutely love this series. It's so fun, so good. And again, it's kind of dystopian. Obviously it takes place in Oz. So it's not as horrible as like, oh, it's our world, but it's being destroyed. It's Oz that's being destroyed. And since it's a fantastical world, it's a little bit less dystopian. Does that make sense? Because like The Hunger Games is dystopian because it's like, oh, it's still America, just way in the future after many wars. Like this is just Oz, like the fantasy world of Oz. And it's not a spoiler that there is a war and that the wicked witches are actually the good witches in this series. And I love that so much. It's so fun. And one of the other things that I really love that they kind of even point out with the good witches being the bad guys and the wicked witches being the good guys is that good and evil constantly take each other's places. Like one side maybe doing something really, really good, and then all of a sudden they do something like super evil. And it's like, okay, but I thought these were the good guys. And then vice versa. The good guys are doing horrible, horrible things, but then all of a sudden they do something good, or maybe they're going in the right direction. And it's like, okay, but who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? And I love that so much because it makes everything even more realistic for such a fantasy series, because good and evil are such, let me put it this way. In the real world with humanity, good and evil are not really a thing. Like nobody is good and nobody is evil. People can do good and evil things. And I love that about this series because that's kind of what they point out through it, even though they're talking about witches in the land of Oz. And that's what's so much fun about it. I like that they kind of point out those things that are true for humanity, you know? So in this series, other than, you know, the cool aspect of, you know, pointing out some moral things, this one is really fun in that they introduce and create so many new characters. So there's the wicked witches that they talk about. So there's more than just one wicked witch, which is so much fun. And then they also introduce other new characters, like other kinds of animal characters and magical beings, you know, and that's what some of the short stories are about too. So you get to even learn more about them. It's just really good. So many twists and turns, and just all in all a well-written long series, and it's so good. I could read this. Honestly, I'm starting to want to read this again, even though I'm in the middle of so many books right now. I just wanted to come on and talk about this particular series. And like I said, it felt like it was kind of appropriate since the Wicked for Good trailer just came out. The other really cool part about the series is that it creates, I don't know if it creates, it might have taken it from other context of the world of the Wizard of Oz, of the land of Oz. Like why a tornado in Kansas would take someone to the land of Oz. Where is Oz? How does that happen? Why does it not happen every time there's a tornado in Kansas? Like that gets addressed in this series. And I love that because I'm such a lore kind of person. I love it when there's like worlds that are created and then you learn all about like, okay, well, how did this happen? Like, where does this all come from? Like all this stuff. I love TV series like that, and I love book series like that. That's so much fun for me. I love lore, and that's something that this series really does. So if you like that stuff too, I really think you'll like this one. This series can get a little bit violent-ish, like not super violent, nothing like too adult, but there are some deaths, there are fighting scenes, there's a little war, so that makes sense. But yeah, there are some deaths. Some things are described very violently, and that may be bothersome to people. So just as like a warning. One of the reasons I really love this series is, like I mentioned before, the morality of the characters in this world is not black and white. It's everything is a gray area, and I love it the way that's described because that's just how the world is, like the actual real world. And especially today, like people do good things, people do evil things, and I think it's just such a true way of describing humanity, but using a fantasy backdrop to do so. And it's very cool to have it be like the wicked witches are seen as the bad ones. And another reason why I love Wicked, the movie and the musical, same kind of thing. They are made to be the wicked witches, but are they really wicked? Who labeled them as wicked? You know, and that's kind of the same thing here in this series. So honestly, if you're a reader and you like the movie and musical Wicked, I really, really think you should read this series. It is so good, and it just adds so much lore to it that even like in general still applies to the whole universe that was created with the Land of Oz. So I think this is a really, really good series to read, especially if you're a fan of that. But even if you're not, if you're just a fantasy fan, this is just so good. Reimaginings are great. And to me, this series isn't even necessarily a reimagining. It's not like, you know, we're doing Dorothy Gets to Oz and meets everyone and we're retelling it in a different way. We're saying this series is going, okay, but what happened after Dorothy left Oz? You know, what really goes on in the Land of Oz? What is happening there that has nothing to do like with here, you know, from outside of Dorothy's perspective, because we only get Dorothy's perspective when she goes to Oz. It's such a fun exploration of Oz. It just is. And so I love it so much. I don't think I can hype this series up enough. Like I don't I don't think I can overhype this because you'll just like read it and like I just think it's really good. I don't think anyone has disliked it that I've heard of. I personally liked reading the series and then the stories because it's fun because you have more context in your head of what ended up happening, and then you can go back and learn like, oh, that's why they turned out that way. So I personally like doing it that way, but I think you could read the stories volumes first and still get all the context of everything without any spoilers. Like I said in one of my other videos, I want to talk about a lot of the books that I've read in my past, because I do have a lot of books that I'm reading currently that I will continue to make videos about. But I wanted to make videos about stuff I've read in my past that really stuck out to me because it's stuff that I feel passionate about, and I feel like when you talk about things, or when I talk about things that I'm passionate about, it can inspire other people to read or even to go out and talk about their favorite books or their favorite things. Maybe it's not books. And I don't know, maybe it'll just inspire something in someone else. Does that make sense? I just really like talking about the things that I'm really passionate about, and this is one of those things. It just stuck out to me so much, and I think, like I said, it's because of the morals. It's because there's no such thing as just good and just evil. It's people choosing to do good or evil, you know? So that's why I really love this, and obviously I love the fantasy aspect. The story, the plot line, the characters are all so well developed. It's so good. So definitely go check out this series if you've never heard of it or read it before. I really, really, really think it's such a good read, and they're not that long. Even the first book might actually be the longest because this has the most world building, like introducing of characters. But the rest of the books are really not that thick, so it's a pretty quick read, honestly, especially compared to the Lunar Chronicles. But this series actually isn't that long, so you could probably get through it a little bit quicker than the Lunar Chronicles. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've watched all the way through, it really does mean a lot to me, even if you just watch parts of my videos. Like, comment, subscribe. I want to hear from all of you, and I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. There's no downside for you to subscribing, and it means so much to me. So please subscribe, share this video with anyone that you think might like it, and yeah, thank you all so much for being here, for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.